All right, it says, why did he feel they could never be retaken? Had the two peoples united as a military force at this early date, were Native Americans prepared to drive off European slave hunters?
Yeah, they were trying.
Was an alliance taking shape in the woods between two people who opposed the Spanish conquerors? The answer to these questions are unclear, but Governor Obando is describing more than a problem of bad, untrustworthy service. His words are more than a complaint about the difficulties of recapturing fugitives in a tropical rainforest. All right, this is page 22. It says the first former colony on U.S. soil. It says less than 2 generations after Columbus first landed in 1492, and while his son Diego served as governor of Hispaniola.
It's his hair right here.
A Spanish-controlled island in the Caribbean, a colony was started on the mainland of South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina.
It says no one seems to want to celebrate over or even mention its dramatic story, and this is unfortunate. It offers a feast of insight into some errors that still cast their shadow on our racial problems.
That's it. Yeah, because the kids are still here. That's why. His hair. What you thought they was gonna stop hating the 12 tribes? He passed that shit on to his kids. He teach it. Like the scriptures tell us. Okay, let's go. Oh, right here. Oh. Then we're going to say real history.
All right, this is Columbus Day. True legacy, cruelty, and slavery. It's from Eric Casson. You see HuffingtonPost.com.
It says true legacy.
All right, just read the highlighted part. It says, it says, once again, it's time to celebrate Columbus Day. Yet, the stunning truth is, if Christopher Columbus were alive today, he would put on trial. He would be put on trial for crimes against humanity. Columbus' reign of terror, as documented by noted historians, was so bloody, his legacy so unspeakably cruel, that Columbus makes a modern villain like Saddam Hussein look like a pale codfish.
Right, like what you said in that book, how the Spanish king told him, when you set up the land, you can do what you want to what prisoner. So even the king of Spain, Italy, France, they are partakers in this wickedness. We're doing a lot. No. Okay. You got it? Okay, you good. You got it? Yeah, do that. Go ahead.
Okay, the next highlighted part, it says, here's the basics. On the second Monday in October each year, we celebrate Columbus Day. This year it's on October 11th. We teach our school kids a cute little song that goes, in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. It's an American tradition, as American as pizza pie. Or is it? Surprisingly, the true story of Christopher Columbus has very little in common with the myth we all learned in school. It says Columbus Day, as we know it in the United States, was invented by the Knights of Columbus, a Catholic fraternal service organization back in the 1930s. They were looking for a Catholic hero as a role model their kids could look up to. Wow. And in 1934, as a result of lobbying by the Knights of Columbus, Congress and President Franklin Roosevelt signed Columbus Day into law.
See that? Yeah, he'll partake in this. Your presidents are partakers in this history.
As a federal holiday to honor this courageous explorer, or so we thought. All right, it says Native Americans discovered North America 14,000 years before Columbus was that's going on. It says was even born.
But they was here. They was here before that nigga was born.
Yeah,
we'll at least say that. Second that.
It says when he set foot on the sandy beach in the Bahamas,
that's where he really went, not America.
Island, friendly, peaceful people called the Tainos and the Arawaks.
Today they called Simeon and Ephraim.
Writing in his diary, Columbus said they were a handsome, smart, and kind people. All right. It says Columbus was so impressed with the hard work of these gentle islanders that he immediately seized their land for Spain and enslaved them to work in his brutal gold mines. Within only 2 years, 125,000, half of the population of the original natives on the island were dead.
Right, but he was supposed to be a good guy who discovered America, though. He was supposed to be this old peace and friendly guy. They didn't do nothing wrong. But it's telling you the history of this devil.
Yeah. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
Right. They came over here. They came and took down the North American Indians, Gadites, the Reubenites, Issachar, Ephraim, Zebulun, Naphtali. They came over here and destroyed them. Go ahead.
I was wondering. No, the white bitch sitting over there because she was enjoying the sunset. Right. See, look at the sunset. I would be surprised if it's behind this. Go ahead. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Right, and they was speaking what? Spanish. Go ahead. Why you think Mexicans and Puerto Ricans, they got the last name is Jose, Rodrigo, Jesus, Gonzalez. Yep. Those are Spanish names, man.
Yeah.
They don't name Hebrew names.
It says, a nation of fierce continent which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
Right. Where that book at? Where that book at? Right. They slaughtered the old man and the young man. And it shows it in this book, American Holocaust. You see? And they're probably showing that the sun, what they're going through, the sun is beaming. Now bring it back this way. The sun is beaming directly on him through the back. That's their power source. But we don't get on that after.
Okay.
Right. Not young or old, and I'm gonna put it in post-production. This is what it's talking about. That's what the fuck this devil did. He did all of this. That's the scriptures. No. I just want to show the picture.
This Psalms chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
Right. He came over here. We basically, I trade with you. We trade, that the whole trade game. The whole setting up the laws that they had, or whatever you want to call it.
Using Judah to communicate with him, to tell him I said this.
Right.
It says the war was in his heart.
Right, and we already know what that is.
Because the history, all you gotta do is do history.
Right.
The history teach that. I mean, the history gives that part. The war was in his heart. In some instance, he could be saying something else, telling the slave, telling Judah to tell us another thing, and they know we trust him. It says his words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn with sword.
Right.
This is from the Far Out Adventure, the Best of World Explorer magazine. This is page 135. It says titled The Columbus Mystery.
Yeah, it's titled The Columbus Mystery by W.R. Anderson. It says, Columbus knew perfectly well that he would reach a new world rather than China, as he told the Spanish royalty.
Right, we run it out the first one.
It says, I'm just going to read the highlighted part. It says, but a Spaniard who had assumed the identity of a young Italian wool merchant, whom the Spaniard had once met, and whom had died at sea. So Christopher Columbus is just an alien. It says, the young Italian wool merchant from Genova, had the same name as himself, at least in translation. Christopher Colon, known as Columbus, was by some evildoers a Spanish Jew. So he was really a Khazar, so-called Jew.
Because he came over there from Spain dealing with those so-called Jews. That's why he was in the cohorts with who? Rodrigo Bogier and Cesare Bogier. Okay? Which was so-called Jews.
It says he was in possession of several maps that showed the coast and islands of North and South America. That's what he holds in his hand. It says, in 1451, Sir Dominic and Susan Colombo in Genoa in the Liguria section of Italy, and the other of Cristobal Colon, born in mid-1460, the Prince Carlos, or Charles IV of Vienna, France. The Margarita Colon in the Jewish ghetto of Majorca near the village of Genova, which is now a district of Palma in the principal city. So he had two aliases in two places that he's supposed to be born. Right. To keep the truth covered up to what his real intentions were. It says several crew members were Jewish, including Bernal, the ship's doctor, and Marco, the surgeon. Abraham Zacuto provided astronomical tablets which saved the lives of Colon and his crew on the fourth voyage. By using the tables, he was able to predict the eclipse of the moon on February 29, 1504. And his men were so awed their Indian captives, they were released Colon and his men unharmed. Aboard also the first voyage was the Hebrew interpreter, Luis de Torres.
Our brother was interpreting the language when they got over here to America, because they knew the people over here spoke Hebrew. That's why you're going to bring a Hebrew interpreter with you. That's all.
It says, with the help of the Most High, which pious Jews employ to this day.
Right. So even to this day, they give thanks to the Lord. Oh yeah, this is going.
Alon Anderson points out that there are three men of limited fame who played critical roles in Colon's voyage in his historical account. Alonso Sanchez de Huelva. Nectario found a letter to the Spanish rulers indicating that Alonso Sanchez left the port of Huelva on May 15, 1481. In the ship Atlante, with a crew of 16, it stated that the vessel reached the island of Santo Domingo, called Celstea by its inhabitants, and on its return stopped at Porto Santo in the Madeira, where its captain lived for a time. After his sudden death, the ship's papers were given to Colon.
That's how he got a group of his papers. He's taking it from dead man who actually did work before him, but he get all the credit. Because, like it said, the Knights of Columbus was looking for somebody for them to worship. And they, they don't just get the average person. They got to get the most evilest, wickedest person there is. Why do you think they picked for the photo of Christ? They picked the that's why they picked him.
It says the first male was Martin Alonzo Pinzon, a wealthy ship owner of Colossus. Pinzon was
responsible for Colon's acquisition of the Nina and the Pinta, and for hiring the crew for the expedition.
Right, you best believe he ain't gonna get no average dirty cracker who was trying to make a fortune. He went and got what you call today naval SEALs, and he went and got people who can be doctors and physicians, because you need all that when you come into a foreign land.
And navigators of the sea.
Couple sides.
It says, some historians suggest that Pinzon was the actual leader of the expedition to the New World, and that Colon was merely a front because of his favor with the Spanish monarch. As later captain of the Pinta, Pinzon was second in command to Colon. The steward's letter reconciles with accepted facts. Pinzon's descendants tried for half a century to obtain some of the honors and wealth which had gone to Colon. In the series of lawsuits recorded, it was disclosed that Colon had access to the Vatican archives.
See that?
Which
His name was Pinta.
Yep, Pinta.
Pinta goes back to 10. That's, 5 pentagrams. The Baphomet.
It says, which contain records of Viking voyages over a period of several centuries, probably alluding to the original of the famed Vinland map, of which Yale University has a 20th century copy.
See that? Yeah, Yale University always popping up through everything.
And it says he studied old voyages. On top of that, with the scriptures, he knew exactly where he was going. It says, it also indicated that Pinzon had obtained from Rome information about lands to the west of the Atlantic.
That the Romans, they knew who he was.
Peter Martyr, which is a council of the Indies, also known as Father de Angliera or Anglihera, Martyr wrote the first biography of Colon and is credited with coining the term New World. A copy is said to be in the library of Barcelona University. The original is held by the family of the Count.
See how these universities got a lot of our history? Because even when that migration book, I mean, what's that? Immigration, they actually keep telling you it's at this college, it's at that college, it's at this college. All of these maps and all of these pictures. Yeah.
Niggas ain't getting it now. And there has been found living in Genoa one such Cristobal Colombo Canojosa, son of Domingo and Susana Fontenarosa, who should not be confused with the West Indies navigator. There is of course a possibility that the letter was forged. However, until a battery of experts has submitted it to the necessary scientific test, the letter fits nearly into a jigsaw puzzle that has baffled historians for centuries.
They don't need to see the book.
It seems highly likely that Jewish merchants in league with Phoenicians of Tyre, which are the Africans. The so-called Jews and Africans got to league together to sell us into slavery. Explored and exploited mineral wealth in both North and South America. King Solomon's mines have been claimed by some to be located in New Mexico at the mouth of the Amazon.
Yeah, and that's our forefather Solomon sending Tyrese and what was the guy name? Haram over here to get gold for our kingdom every 3 years. So them crackers, they even knew about that. They went so much into the scripture. Make sure you get him. They play games. Make sure you get all right. But yeah, that's how you know they know our history, because they actually even tell you about that.
And they would be known, the Phoenicians of Tyre would be known as the Olmec people of the Olmec statues that you find in northern Canada today. King Solomon, circa 1000 BC, and his father-in-law, the Phoenician king Hiram of Tyre.
That wasn't his father-in-law, that's a lie.
It was a servant.
Exactly.
Haram was a servant of David.
Built, refined, in a port on the Red Sea, and with Phoenician naval expertise, made the dangerous voyages to Ophir. Ships apparently left from the Mediterranean ports as well, the Phoenicians and their ships of Tarshish, so called after the Phoenician port in Spain called Tartessos.
Right, so they give reference to them Africans, because they know it's possible.
Were well suited to the venture of going after the gold of Ophir, having sailed through the Atlantic. The land of Ophir, however, remains a mystery. It has been suggested that Tartessos in Spain itself was Ophir. After all, they were ships of Tarshish. Others felt that Ophir was in Somalia or maybe Sofala on the Mozambique coast of near Zimbabwe. It says Oville Hope in this book, 6,000 Years of Seafaring, asserts that King Solomon's Ophir was actually in New Mexico, where Hebrew inscriptions, refineries, and fortifications have been found near Albuquerque, which that's the Los Lunas stone. Apparently, the Jews had.
See, I say Hebrew inscription.
Right.
They told us that the Issacharites spoke some foreign language.
Right.
But it's telling you right here that was Hebrew inscription.
This is. Apparently, the Jews had a 2,000 or 3,000 year history of sailing to the Americas. The historic voyage of Columbus in 1492 was merely the most well publicized. Even as late as 734 AD, Jews seeking refuge from persecution sailed from Rome. The Kalalas, an unknown land, this land is now believed to be Los Lunas. That's where they got the Los Lunas stone from. It says, the Portuguese voyage was certainly known to Columbus, who thought he would find their descendants on an island. It says, Peter Martyr wrote in 1511 that after Columbus discovered abandoned gold mines on the island of Haiti, or Hispaniola, he believed it to be the land of Ophir.
Right, now who was in that land? Levites. Okay? They was, if you know the map, how they came off the Horn of Africa, we started planting off, okay? Brazil, Guatemala going up, and then you got Hispaniola, where the Caribbean islands is, with Simeon. How did he know that though? He had the map. Look at the picture. Get the picture. And what's that in his hand? It's a map.
And what's that in his right hand? A compass. It says.
Yeah, we ain't gotta play you no more. Because all they can do is keep spinning right here. I got
It says Columbus was in possession of several maps which showed large portions of North and South America.
So not only did he just have the scriptures, why he actually had the maps.
Yeah. Now how did he get the maps? Because they took down all of our nations and they took the maps from who? King Solomon.
Thank you, man.
Solomon
Why do you think they got armed guards at the Vatican Church? I mean, the Vatican library, man. And they got our damn maps in that motherfucker. They even probably go back as far as that's what the Knights Templar, when they went into Jerusalem and they took them treasures. That was the treasure.
Hell yeah. I remember that shit.
Only man alive that ever came over here was who? King Solomon's Navy's the ships of Tarshish, a black man.
Tribe of Judah.
They don't like that. Stupid.
That's it. It says,
Go ahead.
so that killed all that, he didn't know what the hell he was doing when he came here. He knew what the hell he was doing. And it killed that lie that Solomon founded the goddamn Freemasons.
And they trying to say Solomon was a Mason.
Yep. They try to say that the treasure that they found, the Freemasons got to hold up in a sacred temple.
What about that
He
ring?
got the damn treasures right there.
What about that ring they say Solomon had on his finger? That bullshit.
Demons.
Right. That's some bullshit.
Even parts of Antarctica, the famous Pi Race map, which this is the name of the map that he used, the Pi Race map.
Remember, he started fighting.
States in the legend that it is redrawn from other charts, including maps once used by Columbus. This map is now at the Topkapi Museum in Istanbul, and it testifies that the Atlantic was being navigated long before the European Dark Ages.
Right.
Dating from 1513.
So, get that Revelation 21. Right. So we just broke down the whole line Cristobal Colon, okay? The same thing our elders did, okay, to the Spirit of Kanye, how about Chanel Shine?
That's right.
So now we had to go and do this lesson in inspiration by our elders. We actually just found that this was here. All this that's around, we actually just We didn't know that this was here, but the Spirit of the Lord moved us over here right after the elders, did their thing. 20 and what?
Double honor to the elders.
All right.
This Revelation chapter 20, verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit.
Right. That angel was September Severus, 193 AD. Yep. September Severus. Go ahead. His name Cutter of Yep. Go ahead.
And the great chain in his hand.
Right. The slave. Go ahead.
And he laid hold on the dragon,
The so-called white man.
that old serpent, which is the devil,
Which is the deceiver. Go ahead.
and Satan,
And Satan, the adversary of the Most High. Go ahead.
and bound him 1,000 years,
Go ahead.
and cast him into the bottomless pit,
Right, the bottomless pit is Europe. Because they had no resources, no minerals. Okay, it was dead basically. The land, it wasn't pleasant. Okay, when they came over here, that's where they got all the crops, the gold, the silver. Scripture said, America basically was as the Garden of Eden also. Right. Right.
it says, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years to be fulfilled.
Right now, when 1,000 years got fulfilled, okay, after we went down by the bubonic plague, okay, and then Spain had basically took out the Celtics, the
Celts.
the Celts, the Gauls. Those were all Israelites, okay? They took us out, and then that's how they began slowly coming into power. And the Bourgeois family, the crime family was the ones who basically started it off. That's why Cristobal, he came in, he was working with those so-called Jews, because he is a so-called Jew. Go ahead.
Says, and after that, he must be loose a little season.
Right, in that little season that he got loose was the becoming of the what? The New World, which is in the 15th century. That's when they became the so-called Renaissance period. Right, 14. Go ahead.
Right, like you said, around the late 14, early 15.
Yep. Go ahead.
And I saw thrones, and they...
Okay, stop there and jump to 7.
Verse 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
Right, and that's now, go ahead.
It says, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth.
Right, and that's what they did, beginning with this BS, okay? Beginning with the Renaissance period, okay? Go ahead.
Gog and Magog to gather them together to battle.
Right, now, Gog and Magog, which is talking about Russia, okay, in the land of Turkey, okay? That's what we're coming to now. So it said a little moment. His moment is up now. Go ahead.
The number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
Right, and that's what they're next. So now we're going then that's when the word will start kicking off. So he's doing all right. But that's to conclude this lesson. Murakataya Hawa.
Murakataya Hawa.
Murakataya Hawa Shai.
Murakataya Hawa Shai.
Awar.
Awar.
Ha Malakwa.
Malakwa.
Shaw.
Shaw.
Adawam.
Adawam.
Awar.
Awar.
Adawam.
Adawam.
Ha Malakwa.
Malakwa.
Matawat.
Matawat.
La.
La.
Babal.
Babal.
Babkusha.
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 The water.
The water.
Amen.
Amen.
Shalom.
Shalom.
A new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.